subscribe button and help me keep going, okay? Today we're going to take a bit of a nostalgia trip, but it's going to have teeth. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I don't know where we're going to go in this video. I have no script in front of me or anything like that. I'm just going to talk to you and just sit back and listen. Get you some tea or some coffee, and let's go take a trip. And let's go from back then to now. My theme kind of today was just, where did my America go? What is happening in America compared to when I was a kid? And why are these things happening? I'm 59. I grew up in this post-Vietnam era. And even though we had a lot of problems with the government back then, nobody trusted the government because of the chaos that happened over there in Vietnam. That's a different video. But I grew up where, we worked hard for a living. Father, his money was enough. He got a job with a company or had a business, and he could provide for the family. Mom could stay at home, take care of the house, and cook, and it was just like the movies. It really was. And kids, you had two kids, 2.3 kids or whatever, and they went off to school, and they went through college, and then they got married, and they had, blah, blah, blah. But America, my America that I grew up in, to me now doesn't exist. And especially when I came back from China, I could just see tremendous differences over those 10 years that I was not really living here. But it's so hard to get started on this, but it needs to be talked about. What has happened to America? Why are we now so divided? Why the political parties, they're so far left and right from each other, and nobody knows who's right. Probably nobody's right. Remember, politics is kind of like a marriage. It's going to take some work. It's going to take some effort to make things happen. And right now, it seems like every fiber of what my America was is gone, faded to dust. There's so much that has changed, and I don't know where it's gotten better. But we can start going. Let's go back here just for a minute. About change. Sometime after the UFOs crashed, in the late 40s or whatever, airplanes started looking like starships. Electronics. We went from a tube age to resistors and capacitors, and electronics just started shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. We went from the old telephone on the wall that and going outside and turning the TV antenna so you could get one of the 3 channels. That's stuff I remember, as a kid, but, we saw, like I said, after the UFO incidents, electronics changed drastically, didn't they? Who knows? That's another video maybe too. But, because now, imagine in the early computer age, like you take those pictures, see those videos of old NASA and these gigantic computer rooms and things they had, and old movies where they showed, these big gigantic computers. And, now, what was it? After 1994 and Al Gore invented the internet, right, everything has really, really changed. Everything is now hyper advancing. You know, we got the ability now to put a terabyte or two or whatever on a device as big as this little USB. So we went from, like I said, tubes to transistors and, you know, little capacitors and things like that, and now we're able to store massive amounts of memory on something so small. How did they do that? See that, you know, and that's kind of a good technology, you know, for the most part. You know, there's nothing really nostalgic about that. If we are honestly advancing without the help from those guys, that's all good, you know. And so nothing wrong with that kind of technology if it's just used properly. You know, that's the thing about having power. You know, is your ability to use it. So anyhow, you know, I grew up in this classic family, you know, and as a student, you know, I'd go to school and I'd do my work, and I made sure I did all my work at school so I could play when I went home. All right, what's that? Think about it. You know, a lot of you don't even know what that is, depending on the age who's watching this video. I would come home, and if my homework was done, I could go do whatever I wanted to after school. Go outside and play football, you know, in the little field next to the house or whatever, with all the people from the school, you know, that lived around me. I could go hunting or fishing. You know, my only rule was just to be home by dark. You know, and Mother didn't want you running around inside the house under her feet while she was cooking, waiting on Father to get home. Remember, that's how it used to be. And if you got into trouble, it's like, you just wait till your father gets home. Right? See? I know I'm hitting what you're, you know, I'm hitting you now. Start thinking. But going outside and playing, I cannot remember the last time I saw a little herd of middle school kids together out playing tackle football or even doing anything. It's just changed so much. All our activities seem to be revolved around the internet. And on its own, it's not that bad of a deal. But think of all these things that are happening today in society that are it's crippling America, it's crippling the world. And almost all of it came during its change to the internet. The internet, social media, we've became overly free thinking in a way. We are the internet and influence by other people is so strong now. We have kind of forgotten our sense of right and wrong almost. Our capacity to withstand violence is greater because of gaming. There's no doubt about that. And I'm not just saying it. I like shooting asteroids and that stuff too. But a young mind can be changed so easily and then desensitized. See, it's not like, you know, adults can take stuff a lot better than young people can when it comes to that, because we know the reality. We know true and false and right and wrong, where a young mind is just a sponge gathering information. So again, all these changes that's going on in America, and it's not getting better. Like I said, we got Republican and Democrat are so far apart. I don't know how that's ever going to change unless there is a big change. Something has to give we have to go back and think about what made America strong, what made America weak. How are we supposed to think about things? We need to get together and work together. That's that marriage mentality. Hey, but it works. And so that's more that we need to do. When I was a kid, we're take a little go back, a little step in nostalgia here. You didn't hear about school violence. If somebody came to my school, you're probably going to get shot. Because when I was in high school, we could park our trucks out in the parking lot, and we had gun racks with our guns. We could carry knives into school. Nobody was worried about getting stabbed or shot, but we had the guns. And by golly, if you came to my school and started trouble, you'd probably have a whole herd of people walking out after they called the police. You'd probably have a whole herd of people walking out to their trucks and coming back with their gun to take care of you. You couldn't be bad when I grew up. And some of you guys that think you're bad, you have not a clue what a badass really is. But again, it's so different now. What made it change? See, my America, the value, the core system that made America work in my eyes doesn't exist. Like I said, we didn't hear about, there was no such thing really as school shootings. Yeah, you got people getting killed all the time because we're a big country, but that's piddly compared to what I'm talking about, and it is. So where has America gone? I can blame damn near everything on the internet, even though I like the internet. I'm talking to you because there is an internet. But it's how we use it. We made the world smaller. We can talk across the world. We can chat with people in seconds. I can talk like I talk to my Chinese students all the time. And even though I'm far away now, at least the internet helps keep us close. So, but also the internet is, I'm going to sound like a southern preacher, the internet is temptation, and we can't handle that much temptation on our young minds. Yeah, maybe it's true. Things like the dark web. You can find out how to build a bomb. Who really needs to know that? There's so much going on in the country, and I don't know if we can fix it. And now, after I came back from China, just after I came back from China, the COVID thing hit. Well, here's a whole passel of new diseases that we never had before, and they keep mutating, and these new diseases keep asking for more and more powerful antibiotics. I remember when there was nothing like that here in America. The only thing that we were worried about, was we had to go get our little vaccinations when I was a kid, for polio and smallpox and stuff. I can't remember all of it. I was little. I was that big. But we didn't have these other things to worry about. And these old diseases, even like measles and stuff, we've almost wiped that stuff off the face of the map. But now we got all these superbugs. What do we do? So we got violence. Almost every time you turn the TV on, there's something violent going on. And a lot of it is racial. Haven't we grown past that? Why do we still have so many problems revolving around race? Did we not get enough of that in the 60s? Why can we not just get along? There is fuel to that fire somewhere. A lot of it can be found on this internet. It's terrible, isn't it, to talk about the internet like this? We're so dependent on that. We're so dependent on, a smartphone. Smartphone's just a little computer, basically, right? There's not much you can't do. You can copy and paste and send emails and talk to your friends with text and give phone calls. A lot of people don't ever. I never use a phone hardly. I can forget my phone number 90% of the time. So we're fighting this technology. We're fighting good and bad, and we're in a constant fight to maintain ourselves in this society. Again, nothing ever supposed to sit still. I know that, and there's always going to be change. I know that, but we got to stabilize the craziness that's going on. We've went so far, and now I feel that our leaders have always been pulled on by special interest, but I think that stuff is much worse now. Obviously much worse, or we wouldn't have had this mess on the Hill a couple of years ago. And people don't think, and I'm not a politics guy. I'm not necessarily a Trump hater, but I think he's a terrible person. And I think he was begging people to charge the Hill. If you could not see that, you're really blind. Okay? There is no place for that in our society. The chance of resurrection, unthinkable. This is America. This is the United States. And my teeth are starting to grow now because I'm starting to get a little mad thinking about these things. On that day, for an example, on that day, people were storming our castle. The White House, the Capitol building, all that. That is our legacy. That is our history. And we let people stomp their dirty feet on our sacred ground. And we didn't do hardly anything about it. Why have all those security people on site armed with guns to protect that building, those buildings, those people that work to help make our laws, good or bad? Now that's another video also. But we literally pulled our pants down and took it from all these people that thought they knew what they were doing. And they were being poked and guided by that man that was our leader. Those people storming our sacred ground should have been shot or rounded up, captured, whatever you do. It went way too far. And again, one of the questions I have is, why have armed security if you're not going to use those arms? Because if there was any day in the whole history of America that those people needed to do their job, that would have been the day. I was so furious when I saw all that happening. This is America. And we're basically letting the enemy in our castle to do whatever they wanted. They were out to try to capture people, and like Pelosi and people like that. They were looking for those. people, and there's no telling what they would have done, because a mob, an enraged mob is a crazy mob. That should never, ever happen again. But here's the bad thing out of that. The world saw it. But that's our freedom of, speech, freedom of press, and all that. That's another sacred cow, and that's probably another video also. But the world saw us with our pants down, and now they know that we can be disrupted like that. Who's to say there's not going to be a new red dawn happen, over the Capitol, because it can be taken. We're not willing to defend our sacred cow. And even the thought of that, going back to nostalgia here for a moment, even the thought of that is so disturbing that it would make you throw up. Americans, we loved and still love our country. I know we do. And if you don't love America, I guarantee you there's a plane waiting to take your butt out of here. But that stuff wasn't even a thought in those golden old days. Not even a thought. How can we go so far? Then I'm going to wind up here before I get really fired up. The internet has created more and more monsters. And I'm going to poke at the internet because all these changes that I've seen are post-internet issues. I was talking about a while ago how you could store all this information. You could store, like I said, you can store terabytes on something this big, and I still have, I got this when I was in China, but even though that's just 1 terabyte, that's a lot of freaking memory. Mine's not even half full, and I got all my YouTube videos on that. So this stuff, this is good, but they should be putting, I think every computer made should have at least a terabyte of memory. At least. My mom's got one in there that has a terabyte. It'll never be used. And they don't do that because, you can put all this on the cloud now. The cloud? You know what the definition of cloud means? That means stored on somebody else's computer. That's exactly what it means. There's no damn cloud up there gathering information. You know that. But you got to think about it realistically. If you put your crap on the cloud, it's there for somebody else to take. So I would say keep your stuff at home, and you can store files and books and essays. You can store anything else you want like that on the cloud on somebody else's computer. But these companies could just make a computer with lots of memory, and you don't need to store something where another nose, another set of eyes can see it and smell it. That's where corruption can come from. We need America safe. We need America clean. We need to take care of ourselves. We don't need to be so sensitive to everything in the world. We need to get back to some kind of normalcy. And that's all I'm ranting about today. I just seen too many changes. My country, when I came back from China, I could really see it. Being away for as long as I was away and seeing how the world looks inside our little fishbowl. Remember, it goes two ways. For every person, when I was in China, they asked, well, where was I from? I said, what's your Migwa? And I am American. They go, Migwa number one, Migwa number one. then there'll be other people that would hate you. Okay? Maybe they're party people. That's another video for another channel of mine. But what I'm getting at is we need to go back to where we were respected, where our voice was powerful, where our intentions were honorable. Let's get rid of this fake society. It's like we're living in the Matrix right now, and somebody else is running our entire life. We need to go back to running our life, running it, again, like I said, safe and clean, with a good purpose. Hey, and if you give people what they want, you'll get what you want. So anyhow, just some food for thought, a little ranting today, but I want you to go back after you see this video and just think about the changes you've seen in America and the direction we are going. Is it good? I don't think so. Yeah, we just need a good, positive change. And usually that starts at the top. Okay. But you have a great day, and I will talk to you again soon, hopefully about something a little happier